So apparently, all of the fake, um, news. Apparently, okay. First, let's start with the sleeve. See that sleeve issue right there at the corner, right here. Apparently, something on her sleeve has sort of tipped off the AI experts that this is an AI, and they have alleged that it is AI. I don't know. I don't know anything about it. But according to the Sun, I'm just reading the Sun. It says here, hostile trolls. How outrageous Princess Kate lies are still spreading as China, Russia, and Iran fuel conspiracy theories. Ah, bon. So apparently, all of this is because of China, Russia, and Iran. Okay. So am I to understand that, for example, the Mother's Day photograph that was said to have been issued from Kensington Palace was really issued by either China, Russia, and Iran, or all three? Is that what the situation is? Because that would actually make sense. That would actually make sense if, in fact, the picture was sent out by either China, Russia, and Iran, as well as Kate's apology for what she did was from China, Russia, and Iran. And also, it would explain for me anyway all of the strange discrepancies in the Kate 1.0 photo, whereby she was with the mother in the car taking the children to school, is what we were told, with a very swollen face, very bizarre. That's Kate 1.0. Then you have, not very long after, maybe a week later at most, you had her with the Mother's Day photo looking just absolutely stunning, fresh as a daisy, beautiful, young, just gorgeous. This was Kate 2.0 a week later from the swollen woman. It didn't make sense. And then Kate 3.0, you had the farm shop, which absolutely doesn't, it just didn't look like her at all. And I was just like, so it would make sense to me, actually, if all of those images and the apology letter and all of these things were being sent out by some kind of foreign power like China, Russia, and Iran, and not Kensington Palace, because I think that's why the Agence France Presse compared them to North Korea, because it's the kind of thing that you would expect from a place like that. At least you've been told that that's how North Korea is. I don't really recall a time when North Korea did anything like this, but I'm told that this is the next type of stuff they do. I mean, in North Korea, China, and Iran, my sense is, based on what I've been told by my leaders and my press, I don't know for sure, is that, the freedoms we take for granted in the West are very controlled, especially the freedom of speech. It sounds that, China, Russia, and Iran, you can't speak, you can't question your government, you can't question the data they give you, you can't object, you can't say this doesn't make sense, please make it make sense. You have to just sort of shut your mouth, or you can, literally just die. You were killed and poisoned and all kinds of things. So, I think yesterday I heard some of the Sussex squatties talking about this China, Russia, and Iran thing, and I was like, "What?" And it almost sounded like they were saying that the Sussex squatties were being compared to, you know, not compared, but it was like some kind of um, conversation about the Sussex squatties are agents of Korea, China, and Iran, or if not the Sussex squatties, certainly the people questioning the data online, on YouTube, on TikTok, and on Twitter. I don't know what's going on YouTube and on Twitter and TikTok, because I'm not really frequenting those sites at the moment. But say YouTube, so it seemed like they were being compared to agents of these regimes, which was very bizarre, because the whole point of being in the West is that you have certain freedoms, like freedom of speech, you know. And so when you think about the UK government, or the UK monarchy, comparing, ordinary people who are asking like questions about data they've been given that just doesn't make sense. It's completely inconsistent. And you're comparing these people to terrorists. I don't know. But I guess if that's the case, then why didn't they do the same thing when Megan was going through that and continues to go through that to this day? It's been 6 years of this kind of behavior online against the Duchess of Sussex. So is that also from Korea, from North Korea, China, and Iran? Is it North Korea, China, and Iran that fed all the tidbits to, publications like The Sun and the Daily Mail and other part members of the Royal Rota who ran all those stories, lurid stories about the Duchess of Sussex for years until she ran for her life? Is it North Korea, China, and Iran that did that? And if so, why didn't the palace and the UK government say anything at all for 6 years? Why only now are they informing us of the mischief that is being caused by North Korea, China, and Iran when they were trying to destabilize Harry and Meghan's life? I mean, it was so much. It was so much is not even the word. And it sounds to me like, they're calling for some kind of blanket censorship against people who are asking for things to make some sense, like for some consistency in all of these different pictures, and like what's real and what's fake. It's very I think it's a fair question. I think it's a fair question, without being a terrorist. I hope, I've never thought of myself as a terrorist. I think of myself as someone who has a mind, and I think for myself. I'm not yet brainwashed. Hopefully, I never will be, but you never know, because these people are very, very powerful, and they tell you what truth you are allowed to believe. You see, and what truths you are not allowed to believe or to utter. This is what's happening to me, even in countries that were supposed to be the opposite of the North Koreas, the Chinas, and the Irans. And again, I don't know anything about North Korea, China, and Iran. I really don't. I don't know anything about them. I remember when I went to both China and Russia. Is it North Korea that they said? Maybe it was Russia. Maybe it was Russia that they said. But I remember visiting St. Petersburg one year, and I was completely stunned just because it seems so normal. You know what I mean? So beautiful. I mean, it actually, I think, rivals Paris in some ways. But because I had been taught for so long that it was a terrible place, Russia is a terrible place, then, I think it's a terrible place. So I was shocked. So I can only say that I'm told that, people in Russia, North Korea, China, Iran don't have freedoms, and people in the West do. But now when I wake up and I hear that, the British government and media are saying that, people who are trying to understand the data they have been fed by their governments are terrorists, and they are agents of the Russia, China, and Iran. I mean, I get a little nervous, because it kind of sounds like, wait a second, isn't that what we said those other people are? Didn't we say we were about freedoms for people? Isn't that what distinguishes us from these regimes? Here it says here in The Sun, and senior government figures now believe the madness on social media has been fueled by hostile states, China, Russia, and Iran, according to the Telegraph. But I mean, this madness has been going on for 6 years with the Duchess of Sussex. Are you now saying that China, Russia, and Iran are the ones who were behind that? Or are they only behind it when the shoe is on the other foot? Because I believe in some of the lawsuits that Harry filed, it has been disclosed that these media, the mainstream media, got a lot of the gossip and tidbits from the royal family, from the palace, from inside the palace itself. I mean, just the other day, yesterday, we had someone from The Sun being interviewed, I think, on the BBC, and she says that she is in close contact with the palace before she runs photos, etc. So they work in tandem with the palace. And the press and the palace have a symbiotic relationship. They have fed a lot of information to the press. And then once the members of the society read the press, which is what it's for, the press exists for the public to consume, right? Without the public, there's no need to have a press. So you write your garbage really, and the press, the people consume it. What are they supposed to do? Just consume and accept? I thought that was only in North Korea, China, Iran, and Russia that you do that. And in the West, they consume and they question, they analyze, they talk about it. That's part of their freedom, right? But then all of a sudden, you flip the switch and you change the rules. And now you're saying that because people have reacted to the data in a way that you don't like, because it now concerns you and not Meghan and Harry, for example, all of a sudden, the same behavior that was encouraged and tolerated when people were harassing Meghan and Harry is now terroristic behavior that should be censored. Hypocrisy much? Hypocrisy much, you guys? So now they're telling us that thousands of fake accounts and bots have sprouted and managed by nations like Russia. I mean, blame Russia for everything, right? Blame Russia for everything. I don't think Russia sent out that fake Mother's Day photograph. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let's hear you say it. Let's hear you clarify what really has been going on, because it has left all of us scratching our heads as to, is this Kensington Palace doing this? Sending out all of these obviously fake photos and expecting the public to just accept it as true. This isn't 1644 where, people don't have access to information for themselves, or people are kowtowing to kings and even to their presidents. They don't do that anymore, right? Since the 18th century in France, there hasn't even been a monarchy for that reason, because people have minds of their own and they have certain freedoms that they, expect to enjoy, right? And so the notion that people express their opinions and so therefore they're now a terrorist and agents of the Russian, Iranian, and North Korean states is just like, what in the name of God is going on here? Is there more to this than you pretend that there is? This just absolutely makes no sense. Especially since you remained totally silent when the exact same thing was going on for 6 years against Meghan. Kate's story is not even 6 months old. For 6 years, the same exact thing was going on with the Duchess of Sussex. These are hypocrites. Oh my God, these are hypocrites. And it's real. It's real. But anyway, I would be very interested to see where this heads, because you can't seriously be condemning Korea, China, Russia, and Iran for the same things that you're now trying to do, is to censor people when you don't like their speech and spur them on when the shoe is on somebody else's foot. Hypocrites.